Hello friends, welcome to Basic Angular 5 Crash Course by Perfect Web Solutions. I'm your host Imran Qasim, and in today's video tutorial, or I must say a complete crash course, we are going to learn about basics of Angular 5 and how to set up it on your computer. So let's get started. First of all, we should know that what is an Angular is. So Angular is an open source JavaScript framework, and it is used to build single page based web application, which is also known as SPA. And for no other reason, it is developed by Google, which is why it is so popular. And the release date for Angular 5 is just March 2017, just for 5 months before. And the current, up to now, the current version is 4.4.4.6, which is stable, and it has CLI version of 1.6, I think. And this is an Angular. And why we should use, next question came into mind, that why we should use Angular JS. So the reason behind this, that why we should use Angular JS, because of its speed and performance. It is a smaller application and modular application. We can build cross-platform web, mobile, and desktop applications. And as I mentioned earlier, that it does support SPA, which is called single page application. Not only that, it also supports RESTful API services, so you can create or fetch RESTful APIs. Furthermore, the basic reason why Angular is so much popular, because it uses TypeScript and it has a huge community on GitHub. So the next question came into mind, that what is TypeScript? Basically, it is a free and open source programming language developed and maintained by Microsoft, and it is also called a superset of JavaScript, just like a jQuery. And also it is fully object-oriented programming features like classes, interfaces, modules, and you can create different ES6 syntax as well. You can use ES6 syntax in TypeScript as well. What is the main feature of this TypeScript is that it will compile your TypeScript file into regular JavaScript file, so that your old browser can even use it, and it can your application can work on the old browsers as well. So this is the main reason. And now we should know that in detail, that what is a single page application. So if you see that if your entire application is dependent on one and only one HTML page, it means you have a single page application. It dynamically updates the single page with new data if needed. As the user interacts with the app, it will show and hide some component during the interaction process. In this single page application, there is no reloading, no refreshing of the pages during you navigate from one page to another page, and it is very responsive and fluid app as a result. And it will also full separation between the presentation logic and the business logic. You can send it sends asynchronous request, which is also called AJAX. It supports JSON response and RESTful API. So with all these, it becomes a single page application. So let's get to the Angular 5 again. We need to set up a development environment for Angular 5. So to set up a development environment, we do need some prerequisites. One of the requisites is we do need Node.js to install. So Node.js basically is a server-side scripting language, or I must say it is server-side JavaScript language, Node.js. And to install Node.js, you just need to visit nodejs.org. Just go to nodejs.org and download your current version of Node.js. So just visit nodejs.org and then simply download the current stable release. Currently it's 8.9.3 LTS long-term support, and also you can download 9.3.0, which is current version, and it will be downloaded according to your current operating system. As I'm on the Mac, so it will download for Mac OS. If you're on Windows or Linux, it will definitely download and install that version. So just simply download and run the setup. After installing it, you must run on the prompt node -v, and if it does show you the current version, it means your node is installed perfectly fine. And after that, just check npm -v. If it shows you that npm version, it means you have successfully installed. If it doesn't show you, then it may not be set up properly in your environment so that you can access it on any machine. So you need to set up according to your operating system so that you can access it on the command prompt or on the terminal. Here I can access it, so let's get started and set up a development environment of Angular 5. So first of all, after installing Node and npm, we do need to run and install Angular CLI, as well as we do need to install TypeScript as well. So first of all, we do need TypeScript. So to install TypeScript globally, we do need sudo. As I'm on the Mac, so I need to install it through sudo command so that I can put my root password and it will install globally. So sudo npm install -g. -g parameters tells the installer to install it globally so that you can access it from anywhere on the command prompt. And type script. Right, just press enter and it will ask me for the password, may not you, and just enter the password. It will take few seconds depending on your internet connection, and you can see updated one package and it has successfully installed the TypeScript. To check that a TypeScript is globally available, just type tsc-v and it will show you the current version of your TypeScript here. If it doesn't show or give you error, you can check what maybe your setup is not properly installed. Right, next we need to install Angular CLI. So to install Angular CLI, same command is needed. Sudo npm install -g at, and now to install Angular, always use any package or Angular, you need to put at symbol, so it will install the latest version of Angular /CLI, and just press enter. Because I previously I put the password, so that's why it didn't ask me for the password again. And just wait few seconds. As I already installed it, I already have installed it, so maybe it will give some conflicts here. So let's wait. Meantime, let me pause my video so until it finishes, and then I will get back to you. Okay guys, I'm back, and you can see that Angular CLI, I've just told you on the slides that it is 1.6 and it is latest version is 1.6.1. it is updated right now, and now we have successfully installed Angular CLI. To check whether Angular is installed, just write ng-v and it will show you Angular CLI version 1.6.1 with Node version and your operating system, and it means we are good to go to make our first application with Angular 5. So we have done our prerequisites. We installed Node, npm, TypeScript, and Angular CLI. So for this video tutorial, I'm going to use Visual Studio Code for my development, because Visual Studio Code support natively not only TypeScript but also Angular, and some cool extensions will help me to write the code properly. So welcome to the app, and let's build our first command line Angular 5 app. So as it says, get to your directory where you want to install it, and then I'm on the desktop and I will create here my application. So I will just type ng, and as in the command it said, using Angular CLI, use ng new command, create the welcome app application. So we need to create a welcome app, ng new welcome app. So this will be the name of our application, welcome app, and it will create a folder with the name of welcome app as well. So just, and you see it have installed some TS script. So TS stands for TypeScript. It is for the TypeScript, some CSS, some HTML, and some CSS, and also some JSON files to configure our server. So it's installing. Let me pause here until it completes the installation, then I will get back to you. So guys, our application welcome app has been successfully installed. All the packages has been installed via npm, and successfully it also initialized the Git repository, and project welcome app successfully created. And if I show you, you will see a welcome app folder here. So just let me go inside that welcome folder, welcome app. Now I'm in the welcome app, and to run this application, just type ng serve, and if you pass an argument of -o, it will not only run the server, but after successfully running the server, it will open your default browser with the current link. So it is running on localhost 4200. Just wait for a second and it will load, because it's right now it's compiling. So compiled successfully, and here is your welcome app of Angular 5. So this is our running app. So let's get to its structure. So to get its structure, I will open another tab here, so where I can open our Visual Studio Code. So I just simply type code dot, and I will keep running this web server here. As soon as we make the changes on our application, it will automatically reflect those changes here in the browser as well. So now we need to understand, we have done our application. So let's talk about the basic structure of our Angular application. So if you open it here, you will see some bunch of folders, some bunch of JSON files, some config file, git ignore, and some index md, and some other file folders like node module, source, src, e2e. So we have no concern with e2e and node modules, because as you know that these node modules are the modules installed by VS Code. I can edit. Okay, auto restart. Let me check this some. Okay, right. So let me close this welcome. And our main concern in Angular 5 or Angular is the src folder. That is our main source where we have everything installed which will work on your front end as well. So before going into that, let's take a look on these files which you can see here. First of all, Angular CLI.json file is responsible for setting up the environment for your Angular app, where it defines your root folder, your output directory, which is, of course, after we run and build a bundle, it will create a folder dist, and then it will set up all your files in that one dist folder. And we have assets folder where we can put our CSS and other images, etc., etc. And main index point is index.html, and main TypeScript file is main.ts. And these are all polyfills. These are needed to compile the TS files at runtime and convert them in regular JavaScript files so that your browser can understand and execute them. So this is our default style. .cs prefix is app means whenever you create new components, new modules, new classes, it will be prefixed with the app name. And also there are some scripts and which are not set up here yet, but you can, just like styles, you can set up here if you want to attach some custom built JS files, so you can attach them here. And current environment is development, and you can see it is environment.ts file. If you want to change it to production, you must load this TS file. So this is our Angular CLI.json file, which is most responsible file to set up your environment and to make your application run smoothly. After that, we have other like this karma.conf.js. This is for the testing purpose and other purposes. Package.json file. Of course, whenever you install a new package, you do need this package.json file to make it work. And also there are some other bunch of files, so we have no concern whatsoever with these files, like this TypeScript configuration file or tslint just an error handling which show you that ES6 errors, like formatting error mostly. So we have no concern. So our concern is src folder. This is our backbone. This is our the main source where all of your working files are enclosed after compiling, after setting up your environment. So the first file which execute after setting environment is the index.html and the main.ts file. These two files, index.html and main.ts file, are responsible files to make your Angular 5 app work flawlessly, right? So every Angular 5 application must have a module or I must say one default module. Without any single module, you cannot make Angular 5 work. So here our main app module is app module. Its name is app module just to make it more relevant. That is why it's showing app module from app.module. So it is loading an app module from app.module.ts, and this is our main module where we will be adding all of our components or all our child modules or those modules which we will be creating after setting up this environment. So after it's executed, this our application executed, it look for the src folder as it's set up in Angular CLI.json file. Then from here it will load main.ts file, and this main.ts file will set up the environment. It will check which environment has been set up. It will load core functionalities of Angular. It is also a mod. Also it load a platform browser dynamic just to make it work with Bootstrap with your regular browser. And then it will load the app module and app module from the app folder. And this app module will load your again ng module, core ng module files, and then components. So Angular 5 is basically a modular programming or modular application development with components. So let's talk about something about those components. So these are the building blocks. The first building block is a module. So every Angular app has at least one module. the root module, and by default when you run CLI, that name is app module. So an Angular app is a module app, as I mentioned earlier. So a module is a TypeScript class with the decorator ng module. So this is we called ng module. Let me show you. This ng module is a decorator which set up everything for our ng environment, Angular environment. So each module in the application has its own components, directives, services. They should be declared in ng module decorator. So as it is mentioned here as well, that whenever you create new modules, new components, new services, you need to embed them inside this app module, because this is our root, and every other component or module will go through this module and will work then in our environment. So now whenever we create a new module, it will be created a separate folder inside app folder, and then we will need to set up it with this module, right? So let me set up a quick component for you and show you that how you can do it. As we know that Visual Studio Code does have a built-in terminal, so I'm going to use this terminal, and here I will just type ng generate and press enter. Sorry, ng generate ng help. Yeah, ng generate minus help, and it will show you that with the help of this ng generate command, you can create a new application, you can create a new class, component, directive, enum, guard, interface, module, pipe, service, universal app chat. You can create many things, but being a beginner, you should only know about how you can create new components, and that's it. You don't even need to know how to create modules or how to work with other modules, as we will do bits, and we will use some built-in module as well, and I will show you here how can we use some built-in modules or third-party module inside your Angular app. We will see it. So right now, suppose I need to create an application where we have some other modules, like let me say about module, so sorry, component. So how can I generate a component with the name of about, where we will mention about us or about our services? So to do that, we just need ng generate component and about. Simple, we will do that, component mod about, and press enter, and it will create, not only create 4 files, which is CSS, which are CSS, HTML, TS file, 2 TS files, and one is CSS and one HTML. This HTML file is basically our template file for Angular, which will load in the browser. Every component, even the app component, does have an HTML file. You can see here, which you can see here loaded, and what it does, let me show you here. What it will does, it just simply load these files, and if you see here, it's showing the title. This title is coming from this TS module, and this is the basic module. It's coming from app.component.ts file, TypeScript file, and here we have import the core Angular components, and then we have a component directive. This is also kind of directive, if I can show you here. These are the building blocks, and after modules you must know components, and to define the components we use add component, and then we pass them an object where we define its selector, its template URL, and style URL. Sometimes if it's not a big file, it's not a big HTML you need to display, then you can simply omit the URL option and simply put your template here and replace this component.html, and it will work as it is. Same goes for the style. But if you want to change something, like it's saying welcome app, and you want to change this app like welcome to perfect web solutions, so what I need to do, simply change this to perfect web solution and save it. As soon as I will save it, it will recompile the file and will load them here, and you can see without refreshing the page we have changed our title here. So furthermore, we don't need these UL here. So if I remove and save it, and you will see these will, after compiling, it's removed. And let me remove this one as well. So it's done. So here is our blank application with simple one title and one image. So let's talk about the module we have, component which we just created, and this component does have a CSS, HTML, and 2 TypeScript files. So our main is about.component.ts, And if you see, there is a bit difference between this and the actual app component. Here you only see a class app component, which name is app component, but here it is also about component, but it implements an init interface, and it is derived from the Angular core, and you can build a constructor, as you know, in TypeScript. If you don't know what is a TypeScript, definitely I will create another crash course on TypeScript as well for you. So ng on init is basically a function which automatically executes, and here it also defines add component, and the selector is app dash about. So it means that if I create this as an HTML tag inside our app, HTML app component.html file, it will render there. And what will be rendered there? Whatever is written inside about.component.html. About works. You can change it to anything else. So let me show you how this component will work. I simply need to go to app component.html file. Why? Because it is already included inside our app modules, and you can see it is loaded, not only imported here, but also been added in this about component. It's in the declaration, right? So we don't need to import it manually. It will done automatically by ng generate command. So we'll move to app component, and simply I will do here app dash or minus about, and that's it. I saved it, and then if I go to my browser, you will see about works here shown on the screen, and this one is let me add some text, and it will, after compiling, you can see the text has been changed. So this is how you can create as many components, and you can add them here. So next, our task is that how can we create routing or navigation in this application. I mean this demo application. We need to add navigation. So to add the navigation, we do need Angular routing. So to add Angular routing, we need to go to npm. So let's go to the terminal. Rather than going to terminal, I will use VS Code built-in internal terminal, and I will simply do npm install -- save. So it will be saved in package.json file, and I will type at Angular/routing. So routing is a package, or I must say it's a module which will be installed inside router. Sorry, it is router, I think. Yeah, this router, not routing. Sorry for the mistake, because I think with the another JS framework is routing. I think it's with the Vue.js maybe that it shows routing, not router, right? Anyways, Angular router has been installed. One package has been installed. So how to use this module here? So let me go to our source and then app module, and we will import it here as import router module, router routes from, and it will automatically here shows Angular at the because it's in Angular, and it will show you all the packages installed in the node module folder. So from here we need to select router. So here it is router, Angular/router, and that's it. We have successfully added the router here. So to use this router, we just need to go to GitHub, Angular router GitHub. So we can know that what are the basic components, how to use the router properly, the latest version. Sorry, I think it's, and how to use router Angular. It's showing it. So on the W3 school routing here, no, this one is something else. Yeah, this one will be good for you. So basically I do know that we can import it inside here, just like router modules dot for root, And in this we need to pass an object, like first is path, and the path must be like about, I must say about, and then I need to define component, and the component I need to put the name of component, like about component, and that's it. Argument type path string component type of about is not assignable. Anyways, this is how we do it, and here it will also show you, thanks. And you can see here we can do it like this. So first of all, we do need to import router module like this one, and then we can define them like a constant here. Copy this and just let me do it this way. And simply we do need routes, right? Home, we don't have home components, we don't need this, but we do have a path. So after setting it up, we do need to, and our HTML where we want to display over this link. So for this we use router outlet. So I just copy this and paste it here, and we don't need sorry, it is in app component, not in app component. So where we need to we need to put it here. Index index.php, here we need to put it. And after that, no, I don't think so, no, we don't need to put, this is our root element, so we need to put it inside this file here, right? So if I go to our page, it will show us this. We don't need this one anymore, so it will hide this. So now if I go to about, and now you can see that when I go to about link, it does show us about, and same goes for if you add further components. Let me show you the integrated terminal, and let me create another module. So ng generate component, sorry, again say module component and services. Simply type this and it will automatically create the file and update your app.module.ts file. So we have another services here, and you can see here our services right here. We can just simply go to the component here. We have set up it in the name. So in here we need to define the path, like services, and then component, and we need to put here services component, right? So this is done. So now if we go browser and type here services, it will show us our services text. So now we have the routing. So let's set up the navigation bar, right? So that we can take advantage of. Here I will, over the image, even over the title, I will simply put here the nav bar. So I will use UL, and inside we will create 3 li, right? Each li will contain like anchor tag. So here we don't need the href, we do router, a link is equal to like this about, and then we type here about, and same goes for services and services. So make sure this router link name is the same which we have defined here in our app module here. This name about and services, this name should be used inside our this file. So let me, and I will save it. After saving, it will be reloaded here, and you can see about and services is shown here. If I click about, it will go about. If I click services, it will go, you see. So this is how you can create a navigation, and of course you can style it. As I'm in the app component, so I can use app component.css file, and I can simply do ul display flags, and with the help of this, you see my text will be here, and after that we can do justify content center, and it is in the center. Okay, then we can do align content, and we can do like space around, and it will align content, align items, I think, or we can give it a space between, or we can do padding margin 20 pixels 0, sorry, margin, or 0 20 pixels, so that 0 20 pixels, so left and right. And if we do padding, sorry, on the UL we don't need this, we need it on the LI. So margin 0 20 pixel, and now you can see it is differentiated, and list style none, so that it will remove this. This is just a basic CSS. So you, of course, you know how to create your own stylings, and every module have a CSS, so this CSS will only work. Suppose if I have another UL here, UL, and I have li3, and first li is h2 web designing, here h2 web development, and here h2, and we have other services, SEO services. If I go to about services, and you see it, the styling which we just applied on the navigation bar UL, it is not applied on this one, because Angular knows it that which CSS belongs to which component, and it will not affect your other components styling, right? This is a very good point of Angular, that this UL will not be affected with the styling of this one. We have here put flags, so if we need the same styling here, we just need to copy this, and then inside services we will put it here. After that it will work, and you can see web designing, web development, SEO services now has been shown same line. So suppose if I want to change the color, so I will put the color here, UL li, this one is services, yeah, h2, and I can simply color it red. So this one will change the color red, it will not affect this styling. Or even if we put an anchor tag here, like if I want to link them with the like href, right? You see, it is not affected. This styling is not overlapped here, and same goes if I add it on the about. So this is a component, fully modular and component based Angular 5 application, and we have set up it with the basic installation. And I'm sure as a beginner, if you follow these steps and do this process again and again, you will understand it very well, that how the components work with this Angular 5. So components are basically control a piece of screen called view, and this is our basic definition of all the information data binding directives. We will see next what are the data bindings and what are directives, and how to integrate services as well. This is not the scope of this tutorial. We have just discussed one thing, components, and we know about module. Even we haven't created any module, we used the default app module here, and then we see components and templates. So these three things, modules, components, and templates, are good for you to start up with Angular 5. You don't need to go through metadata, data binding. We do need to understand the directives and data bindings, because these are the key points of Angular 5. So in next tutorial we are going to see these two, data bindings and directives, and we will touch metadata and templates a bit as well. So thank you guys for being with me till end. Take care and bye.